Hi everybody, it's Crazy, it's Monday, and it's time for the UPBGE video of the week. Now before I get started, gotta give a shout out to my trusted because you guys rock. To my Crazy fam, I love you guys. We're up to episode number 92, and last week we left off on, let me see if I can get it right, yep, there we go, custom filter, and we were using this file, which is the GLSL coding 3 .blend. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start a whole new one today, okay, because we left off with 2D filters last week. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new one, okay. I'm going to hit enter because I'm going to type it all in for you, okay. So the custom filter. Oh, and please forgive me, I do got a little bit of a cold, so my throat sounds kind of scratchy. I do apologize. Alright, so the very simple custom 2D filter is shown below, which I'm about to type in for you. If you're following along with the book, we're on the episode, page number 50. So as you're on page 50, you can just type this in. Uniform sampler 2D. Make sure you put that together because I did that before wrong. Okay, BGL underscore rendered texture, and then colon, hit enter, and then const float, which means constant float, contrast 1.5. Then you gotta type in void, void main bracket void again, close bracket, hooky bracket, hit enter, vec 4 text color equals texture 2D, make sure you capitalize that D, bracket BGL underscore rendered texture, comma GL underscore text chord, which text coordinate, square bracket 0 and square bracket period ST and quote, and then colon. Okay, now then you're going to do GL underscore frag color dot RGB. Don't do RBG, okay, RGB. I've done that a few times. Text, oops, not Texas, color dot RGB again, times, which is the star or number 8, capital, you know, or shift 8, contrast, and then colon, and then GL underscore frag color dot A equals alpha. Just in case you didn't know. Text color dot A is alpha, and colon again. Then you do the weird end bracket. Okay, so that right there is your shader. Okay, so if the above code looks somewhat familiar, it's probably because a 2D filter is really just a GLSL fragment shader. Okay, this shader fetches the color of the current pixel, multiplies it by 1.5, and displays the result. This produces an image with higher contrast than the original. Okay. Okay, need to take a drink. Starting to get scratchy. Okay, so the limitations for that are 2D filter can be read from the following inputs, only from these following inputs. Frame buffer color image, which is the sampler 2D BGL rendered texture, okay, or the frame buffer depth, which is sampler 2D BGL underscore NB depth texture. Frame buffer luminance is sampler 2D BGL underscore luminance texture. Okay. Image size would be float BGL rendered texture width, and float rendered texture height. That's for image size. And then the custom textures as input sampler 2D. And that would be your input right here. Okay. Just wanted to get you to understand that, because you do have limitations to using it your own custom 2D shader. Okay. All right, 2D filters are applied per scene. Okay, with the effect of building one on top of the other. For example, if you have the main scene and an overlay scene, the game engine will proceed as follows: render the main scene. 2. Apply the filters available on that scene into the scene. Into the screen. I think it was supposed to be onto the screen. Render the overlay scene on top of the already post-processed main scene. Apply the filters on top of this multi-layer pixel pizza or lasagna. Okay, so that puts me at about 6 minutes. Basically, when you make this shader, you can actually put it right here, as I got it for text over here, but you could put it here and be able to run it, should be able to run it, if you use your custom GL shader that you made over here. Okay, you have to put all this in, and then you're going to put 2D, okay, you're going to put sampler 2D in this spot here. So let's go ahead and put that over real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to copy all this to here, Control C, and we're going to bring it over here to our text, which isn't really text. Control V, put it in, okay, and then you're going to hit enter, and then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, oops, 1, 2, 3 in the double quotes, okay, and that is going to be your shader 2D. 2D. Okay, that's what it's talking about, the custom textures as input. Okay, you're gonna, oh, sampler, I'm sorry, strike that, folks, I'm sorry, that was my bad. I got stuck on shader. Okay, it's sampler 2D, make sure you leave that S lowercase. Okay, and that's what's going to, when you put that in there and you run this text, it's going to apply this. Okay, and then I do believe there's one more thing you have to have in there, yeah, and you're going to have to do something similar to this. Okay, so keep that in mind whenever you're doing it. Shaders are a little bit of a, you know, one of them ones you got to play around with. So when you're messing with that, you know, you want to get as much information as you can. I'm using a vertex and fragment shader, but you can change these around to do what you want them to do, because all you're going to do is call that shader, you know, that input. You're going to call this instead of calling this. Okay, you're not going to call the vertex shader and the fragment shader. Okay, you don't need to do all that, but you do want to put that shader stuff in there. Okay, you're going to have to put that in there from this. Okay, and then it'll apply it to whatever mesh you describe right here. Okay, so that basically puts us at the end for today. That gives us right at 9 minutes. Let me switch you over to here real quick. Next week, we're going to go ahead and work on text and learn how to put text in your games. Okay, so we're finally getting out of the coding. So all you people who are, oh, code, you know, you can now rest at ease. We're just going to be working with text and how to put it on your screen, like how they have the little text bubbles and stuff like that, or how it prints out words. We're going to be working with that next week. Let me go ahead and kick out of that. That was page 51. Okay, is where we're ending, and it's at, I believe it's at the top of 51. Yeah, at the top of page 51, and we'll be working with text next week. So, till next week.